All right, so let's start with the big story that we are tracking on WION at this hour. The leader of Hezbollah, Hassan Nasrallah, has issued a renewed warning to Israel. The leader of Lebanon's Iran-backed group has said that Tehran's retaliation is inevitable and that the suspected Israeli attack on the Iranian embassy in Damascus is a turning point. Now, the warnings have, of course, put the state of Israel and its long-time ally, the United States, on high alert. Now, according to reports, the United States is preparing for a possible attack by Iran, targeting either the Israeli or some American assets in the region. Now, America has picked up intelligence that Iran is planning a retaliatory attack that would include a swarm of Shahed loitering drones and cruise missiles. Now, officials say that the timing and also the targets at this moment are unknown, but a proportional response to the Damascus attack would be to hit an Israeli diplomatic facility. Now, the attack is likely to come between now and the end of Ramadan next week. At the same time, Israel has also increased its security alert to the highest levels, and according to reports, Israel has initiated an urgent evacuation of its consulates. The precautionary measures include relocating some of the Israeli diplomatic staff to safer locations. It has also advised against the organization of public events. The decision taken by the US and Israel has come in the backdrop of a written message where Iran has asked the United States to step aside if it does not want to get dragged into a war, as the country is preparing a response to a suspected Israeli attack on its consulate in Damascus. While Hezbollah, its main proxy in West Asia, has warned Israel that it is also prepared for a war, in an address to the supporters to mark the Al-Quds Day, the militant group's leader said that the matter of violating Iranian sovereignty is above all political differences. He further said that they also support Iran's right to punish Israel, while also stating that a response is coming.
The issue of the Iranian consulate is a turning point in the events that occurred from October 7th till today. Be certain, be sure that the Iranian response to the targeting of consulate in Damascus is definitely coming against Israel.
The Hezbollah chief is not alone in issuing a warning to the state of Israel. Iran too had vowed to take revenge. Tehran has said that their response to the attack will be pretty decisive.
This failure of the Israeli regime in Gaza will definitely continue, as well as these desperate efforts, like what they did in Syria, of course. They will be slapped for this action.
All right, now to give us more perspective on what is, of course, happening at this moment in West Asia, we're being joined by retired Colonel Rich Outzen, who's a senior fellow at the Atlantic Council and the Jamestown Foundation. Colonel Outzen is joining us live from Washington, D.C. Now, Colonel Outzen, we are looking at what is at this moment unfolding in terms of the threats that have been issued of a potential Iranian reprisal for the attack that took place on the Iranian embassy in Damascus. It is widely suspected that it was the state of Israel that carried out the attack on the Iranian embassy. What kind of a response do you expect from the Iranians?
Mohammed, it's good to be with you. I do expect that they will try to execute an attack that they can advertise as being proportional, and that means probably a diplomatic facility. I will point out that in the case of the Iranian consulate in Damascus, it was actually being used for a meeting of military leaders, including Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps generals who were targeted because they are carrying out and planning attacks against Israel. So in a sense, it was a diplomatic facility being used for military purposes. That said, I think the Iranians are probably going to be looking for Israeli facilities elsewhere in the region, countries that have good connections and good relations with Israel. Azerbaijan would be one good example where Iran is close and might be tempted to try to strike at a diplomatic facility there. There are others in the Levant and in the Gulf, countries that have good relations with Israel. So I very much suspect that they will try to do something that looks proportional, but does not trigger the war between Israel and Hezbollah in southern Lebanon that both sides sort of think is coming, but don't appear to be quite ready for just yet.
You know, and also looking at the rhetoric in the past, Iran, when it has been questioned as to how it intends to respond to some of the Israeli attacks that have been carried out on Iranian assets, it has said that it exercises what it describes as strategic restraint. Do you expect the Iranians to say something like that again after the temperatures cool down a bit?
Well, it's a matter of timing. I think the United States encouraged this strategic restraint, if we'll call it that, on the part of Iran by deploying military assets into the region shortly after October 7th to make it clear that Iran should not contemplate opening another front from Lebanon. And I think both in terms of what Israel can do and what United States forces can do, should Iran open hostilities from Lebanon. That factor hasn't really changed yet. So I think they'll continue with what looks like restraint, although they may be tempted to test that, because in recent weeks we've seen more gaps opening up between Washington and Jerusalem over the conduct of the war in Gaza, over the Rafah operation and so forth. So they might still say the word strategic restraint. My guess is they're going to be more provocative and less actually restrained in light of what's happened in Damascus. And
do you think at this moment, considering everything that is happening with also what you pointed out, the divergence that's being seen between the state of Israel and the United States in the manner in which the Gaza war is being conducted, do you think Iran at this moment would want to be seen as an aggressor where it targets any of the Israeli assets or even perhaps an American asset, or it would choose to strike at something without actually causing any real damage?
Well, I think they'll try to cause damage, but on a limited scale, because I think you're right. There's a narrative war as well as the physical war on the ground right now. In one narrative war, Iran is, and with some success, casting Hamas as the victim and as the oppressed and Israel as the aggressor. So were Iran to launch a major military operation, that would undermine their own narrative. It would reinforce the U.S. and Israeli narrative that Hamas and Hezbollah are both cat's paws of the regime in Tehran, and that this is actually a connected set of theaters and, frankly, a combined war campaign by Iran and its proxies. So I think you're right that there's probably a restraint on that level, because Iran does want to sustain this narrative of the victimization of Hamas rather than refocusing people on the October 7th attacks that actually kicked off this war.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much indeed, Colonel Abzin, for joining us and getting his dark perspective there.
Always good to see you. Thank you.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.